Well, welcome to episode 13, part 2. We talk about the topic of the week and the news. Yes. And the topic for this week is what are our hopes for Red Dead Redemption 2, right? It's recent. Yeah. The announcement trailer was just a week or so ago. We've had a little bit of time to be excited that it's coming, but they've not really released any substantial news about it. There's lots of theories.
Yeah.
So this is a good time for us to talk about what we hope it is before we find out what it really is.
Yeah.
What it could possibly be. Like, what is its potential?
It's in the same area, right?
Well, yeah. Apparently, the old map fits into the new map.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or at least that was a leak. I mean, that was never confirmed by
Rockstar.
But anyways, Red Dead Redemption 2. What do we hope it's like? I know that Jose and I agree on one thing, which is we hope that it ditches the GTA style mission structure and adopts something more like Witcher 3's structure or mission structure.
Exactly, yeah. And kind of make the world feel more alive in that sense, right? Where you're kind of actually influencing the world in that way with your decisions and
there's lots of smaller stories that are really like rooted in that local zone.
Exactly, yeah.
And the history of that local zone. Whereas because like the usual GTA mission structure, which Red Dead Redemption followed, is that there's like usually like somewhere between 5 and 10 personalities that you keep returning to, and you just do missions for them.
Exactly.
And usually you see their story play out. Either like he's a mob boss, and like by the time you're done with his mission structure, somebody's brought him down, or you brought him down, or somebody's a some kind of professional, and you see how like things progress until they become rich, and they don't become that. They're not like a cab driver anymore, or something like that.
Or somebody that's trying to get higher leveled in the underground crime world, right?
Yeah. And I don't necessarily dislike that. I like that for GTA, but I think for Red Dead, where part of like GTA is not the narrative itself isn't about exploring a world. Like it's an established world. Yeah. You're like in a city area usually, but Red Dead does have that Witcher style exploration to it, in which you're kind of going out into the Old West. You're experiencing like locales and towns and frontiers, and you're discovering things for yourself. Yeah. And I think the Witcher style mission structure would work better, where like you get into like local lore, and you're not necessarily always going back to the same personality just to get fed missions, but instead you're sort of experiencing local history with many different missions from different people with like tidbits of story. You don't have to be the big grand stories, but smaller stories, and then like a threaded narrative that goes through the whole thing. Now, having said that, I'm going to contradict myself ever so slightly. I want that for most of the missions, but for the main story missions, do you know what I really, really want?
What's that?
I want GTA style heists.
Huh. All right.
I thought that was the best part of GTA 5 was the heists. And
setting all that up.
Yeah, in the main story of GTA 5, you get, 2 or 3 heists tops? And then they brought out some heist DLC.
And then you got to prepare for the heist and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I want the main missions of Red Dead Redemption 2 to be all heist style stuff.
Nice. Yeah,
I
that would
would
be great.
love that.
And I think, this is the same company that did GTA, so yeah, I think we might actually see that. So
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope the whole thing is because there's 7 people, and I hope it's all about like planning for the big heist, executing the big heist, trying to get away when like and like being chased, and like I want a heist main story mission.
Now, would they add a multiplayer aspect to that? I mean, as you're playing the game, you can connect with other people to make a heist. That would be pretty cool, I think.
Yes, and I mean, they haven't announced, of course. Like, we're not saying that's what they're talking about. I would like to be able to do a split screen or online co-op. Not like a multiplayer thing where you're like getting into hubs and like
Far Cry 4's multiplayer. Where you can run around the map together.
Right, like that.
Nice.
I would like that. So like there's 7 people in like, as far as we can tell, there's 7 people in this main story. And so like maybe if somebody enters into your game playing like in your story, they look like one of those 7 people. They take over, they like inhabit their body.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't want I want it to be definitely a single player campaign that just somebody can enter in, like come into your game, as opposed to it being like a multi. I don't want it to be The Division.
Yeah.
where it's like it's a shared sort of community, and
It's a shared trolling experience.
it's a shared trolling
Hey,
experience.
they're getting a recall for their weapons.
Yeah,
Shoot 'em up.
and without trying to give any spoilers, although game is old, guys, I want John Marston. I don't care what you do to get me John Marston. I want John Marston.
So you want a zombie?
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. Don't know what you're talking about.
Have they said when this takes place in terms of the timeline?
There's been a lot of theory. People think that this might actually be in Red Dead Redemption. You're having, as John Marston, you're having to go and find the people that did crime with you, right? People are theorizing based on the silhouettes and how some of the characters in Red Dead Redemption seem to fit those silhouettes.
Yeah.
That maybe this is the story of those crimes.
This is the prequel.
Yeah.
Because Red Dead Redemption ends with the federal government consolidating power and kind of the end of the Old West.
Yeah, and it ends in like 1911-ish.
Yeah, so they can't, I mean...
You can't go forward.
Yeah, you'd be going into World War One.
Right.
We already have Battlefield, so...
Yeah, so... And I just loved John Marston. I loved his voice. I loved the way he was acted. I loved being John Marston and his sort of moral struggle.
Yeah.
And I would love to just see more of that. I don't care if it somewhat breaks the narrative a bit, as far as like, because obviously his moral struggle comes after his life of crime. Like it kind of suggests he didn't have that moral struggle in his life of crime.
Yeah.
I don't care if you kind of break that story a little bit. I just want that character back. Like, just give me that fan service. And I hope that I get to play as him, or at least he plays a prominent role.
Nice. Are there going to be any female characters? Based on the silhouettes, I feel like there might be.
Yeah, and some people have suggested maybe there's 2 female silhouettes in there, but I've heard a lot of mixed stuff on that.
Yeah.
I don't...
Maybe for the girl gamers out there.
Yeah, I mean, on the one
gamers.
hand, I've never been interested in trying to force developers to change their characters in any way. I want them to make the characters they want to make.
Yeah.
At the same time, it totally wouldn't bother me if there was female options, like you know,
like Bonnie and Clyde.
Like it doesn't hurt me one bit that there's a femme shep in Mass Effect. Like it doesn't hurt me one bit that in Dishonored 2 you're gonna have Emily or Corvo.
Stay tuned for unboxing video, by the way.
Yes, we're gonna
Nice.
unbox the special edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So like that. So on the one hand, like I happily invite diversity, but I've never been a big fan of trying to force diversity in storytelling.
Yeah.
I want it to come naturally.
Yeah.
I think part of what makes it come naturally is people of diversity getting deeper and deeper into the industry, right? And then they can bring their own life experiences into the storytelling.
Okay.
I think that's a much. I can't remember the name of the writer, but there was a comic book artist who he's a black gentleman, and he's famous for writing some really solid black characters. And somebody asked him, like, why do we not have more, characters of color like yours in the comic book industry? And he said, because most writers are white and they're gonna write from their own life experience, and that makes sense. So if you want that problem solved, you need people of diversity trying to get the jobs.
Yeah.
Of writing in comic books, and then they will bring what you want.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's a smart answer. We're going off topic there a little bit, but
let's bring it back.
I definitely want single player DLC. There wasn't really any single player DLC in GTA 5, so that makes me worried about Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I really want Undead Nightmare 2. I don't know if you ever.
No.
Chris, did you play Undead Nightmare 2?
Where everything's zombies.
Yeah, basically it takes the whole Red Dead open world map, zombifies the whole thing, adds a story for why this is happening, and you have to like basically solve the zombie apocalypse in 1911.
More zombies, all right.
But it was zombies done right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of a little burned out with the zombie.
Yeah, we're
thing,
done with.
so.
We did pirates. We did zombies.
Yeah.
What's next?
That's
next?
just me. But yeah, I could totally see why you would
screw
like
you
that.
guys. I want Undead Nightmare 2.
You don't want cowboys versus aliens?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that. I guess my real point is, I would like Undead Nightmare 2, but what I want is for them to have like a substitute. What they did was a bold thing. They could have just come out with another cowboy story to be a DLC for Red Dead Redemption, and instead they went before zombies was played out.
Yeah.
They took a leap and they made a DLC that went like way left from where their normal game is.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Okay. Nice.
And they did it well. I also
Awesome.
want them to bring over the old game mechanics of the gun mechanics. You can always clean it up, make it better, but I like that whole snap aim thing. It used to be like, if you're anywhere within the vicinity of like somebody, your reticule, when you like snap the gun, it would snap right to their head.
Okay.
And that was really effective in the way they designed the way shootouts worked. Like, because you could like snap to head, boom, snap to head, boom, and like it made you feel like a really solid cowboy.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a
Instead
gunslinger.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a place in this world for more challenging shooting mechanics where it's more of your own skill. But not every game needs to be that. Sometimes I want a game that just makes me feel like a gun shooting god.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
And Red Dead
Titanfall
Redemption
2.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, I can totally see how that would be a great thing to kind of bring back as well with the game, right? Because, I mean, you definitely want to play a game, and if you're playing like this, you know, excuse my wording, I guess, if you get offended by this, but a badass shooter, right? I mean, you want to get that feeling. So, yeah, I think that would be important because, like you said, we were talking before the podcast about an experience with games, you know, and what that kind of does for you as a gamer, like just having that experience of being that really great shooter or, you know, hero character kind of really brings the game all around for you as a gamer. So yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah. Now there's always a place for some humor and parody. In any, even like Witcher 3, as serious that game is, there's lots of humor and parody.
Yeah.
I felt like Red Dead Redemption sort of towed the line of being like a serious game with a serious narrative, but still having some of that GTA parody and sarcasm in it.
Nice.
I wouldn't mind them cleaning that up a little bit more, being a little bit more on the serious side. I love GTA. I don't want GTA to change. I just want to get more of what it is and be bigger. But I want Red Dead to have its own identity, and I'd like to see kind of Rockstar put forward less tongue-in-cheek with Red Dead and kind of have a more serious, slightly more grim. It doesn't have to be grim from beginning to end. You can always have funny moments.
Okay.
But I'd like to see kind of a darker tone to the plot.
That ending was way too humorous.
Well, you're right. No, the ending wasn't, but there was a lot of like silly characters along the way, like the president of Mexico, right? Like he was just
Spoiler alert.
He was just.
If you haven't played it.
Well, I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay.
I think it was the president. It's not Mexico. It's some they use other names, but essentially he's the president of Mexico.
Okay.
But he was like just a silly, stereotypical gun-wielding maniac. He's Donald Trump of 1911 kind of character.
That's funny.
So, and I would like less of that. I like that in GTA. I like that tongue-in-cheekness of GTA. But I think for Red Dead, I'd like to see something a bit more serious.
Yeah, that would be great.
Chris, you want to add anything or argue with anything we've said?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what Rockstar does, and they pretty much always hit the mark.
Yeah, is the only change you would make is you want it coming out next month instead of next year?
Pretty much. Next week.
Next week would be
I don't know
great.
if I could afford it. There's so many other things coming out
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
Hey, you
There's
already
so many
blew all your
great
money on that
shooters out
special
there.
edition of Dishonored
Pretty
2.
much.
Damn.
That and Titanfall and
Battlefield
Civ
1,
6,
Call of
Battlefield
Duty
1. I'm
Infinite.
dying over here.
Dang, dude. And they're all
like and subscribe. We're dying.
Oh man.
You gotta get some of those Patreon bucks,
I'm
guy.
eating ramen so I can buy these games.
Those are really great games. It's been a rough month for your wallet this month,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
man.
I'm still playing Witcher 3, so I'm good.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Good thing there wasn't an Assassin's Creed this year.